Good morning. Time for a backflip. The other day I made a post about Eliza Blue and Timcast and Andrew Tate. And from what's transpired over the last 24 to 48 hours, I'm really going to have to revise my position on Miss Eliza Blue. Something is not right with that woman. Not all is what it seems. She has now gone from being a bit of a darling in the struggle to being someone who's rather questionable. Her backstory is very vague. She has at least 4 personas where she's reinvented herself. She's connected to power in ways I didn't appreciate before. Her father is apparently a politician from the 74th district. Still not sure who. She was known as Eliza Cutts, but apparently the politician does not have that last name. So I'm going to have to do some more digging. But my biggest problem with what's going on is she seems to be starting fires. I'm a fan of Brittany Venti through the Chrissy Mayer channel. I don't particularly watch Brittany's content on her own. But yeah, simply for pointing out publicly available data, she's gone and got Elon to ban her, to ban the quartering. And I don't know how far this is going to go, nor do I know how much, when her current persona of Eliza Blue is exposed and destroyed, will this have blowback. She represents the victims in the Epstein-Maxwell situation. That's kind of scary, that she could discredit those women to the point where Maxwell could walk even. Maybe. I'm not sure of the details, but that's kind of a scary prospect when you think about it. And you start to wonder, is that what she's been digging at all along? She was big into crypto for a minute. She doesn't seem to talk about that so much anymore. Is she connected with the FTX situation? Is her association with Timcast and Adam Krigler and others in the field going to discredit them? Are we going to see this blowback smear across, resistance media, I'll say? I'm not a conservative, I'm a libertarian, but, in the current situation, the libertarians and the conservatives have been lumped together, which is also a mounting issue. Eventually, we're going to part ways with the conservatives because they want to reinstitute the institutions that we want to see torn down. They think they can reform things that are corrupt to the core. So there's going to be issues there, even if we win this fight. And it's also that and the Crowder thing, which bear some similarities. I'm not picking a side per se. I don't particularly feel a fondness for the Daily Wire. They're very middle of the road, and they're very protective of their platform status. Way more than like a Tim Pool type situation. They're kind of calling for a different status quo. They want to wind the clock back to the old status quo a little bit, I think. And I think we need to evolve past that point. Besides, that's all very murky what's happening there. I pretty much agree with Dave Smith and Robbie Bernstein's take on that issue. They did a great little analysis of that and Jacinda Ardern this morning. It's worth a look if you haven't seen it. But yeah, suddenly I'm very shady on Eliza. And I'd really like to get to the bottom of it. She gave the impression on Timcast the other day that the reason she couldn't discuss her backstory is because it was conditional on court findings or cases being ongoing. She was vague to the point where that's not even nail downable. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the other thing, which is, the WEF has always been a front for greater forces, and it looks like it's coming to the end of its usefulness. So we need to keep an eye out for what the new peak organization is, where the money's going to move, who's going to be back next. And to what extent. Looks a little bit like they're trying to push Elon out in front for us to go and worship at the feet of. Now, he's another character with a shady backstory. Seems to be a bit of a cutout. Seems to be running a limited hangout. But on the other hand, he's dropping nuggets. Go back and watch the last 40 minutes, half hour of the podcast he did with Full Send. Some very interesting things in there. Particularly the cryptic comments about what a deep, deep rabbit hole ice ages are. That sort of lines up with another line of inquiry I'm digging through at the minute with regard to what's called a micronova, which is basically where the sun goes cold for a minute, turns in on itself, and sheds its outer layer, which it seems to do with between 12 and 6,000 years of periodicity. And there's mounting evidence that certain factions within the power structure are well aware of this. And I'm starting to wonder if almost everything happening on the ground is a distraction for a major global event that's beyond human control. And, even in the war in Ukraine at the moment, there was a pretty fierce battle last week or the week before to control a significant tunnel network in an old salt mine. Don't know what to make of this just yet, but catastrophism is something that I think more people should at least be aware of the theory behind and the evidence that compels even someone like Elon Musk to take it somewhat seriously. Yeah. Once I figure out how to edit video and include resources, I might do something a bit more in depth on that. But yeah. Oh, time to go. See you next time. Like, share, subscribe. Black Eye out.